Here we go. Bad publicity, run last click. Working on a Saturday. I don't know how cool that is for people, but I don't know about you guys over there, but I don't usually like to work on Saturdays, but making special...
I work every Saturday. I actually had to ask for this one off. Thursday is my Saturday.
Retail, man. It's a pain.
Pain in the balls.
So what we're going to do is throw everything in a giant blender today and just hit blend and break down break down the borders here. I don't want to say like East meets West, because isn't that like almost a North America versus Asian thing, like, and you guys are in the middle? Like we're just North America and UK.
Yeah, man. Why not?
So what's going on over there, guys? Why don't we talk about what are you playing right now? Like, store championships are they still hanging on for you guys, or are they closed down?
We've got a regionals coming up. I don't think we've got any more store championships coming up. Have we, Edie?
No, I think, is there Bristol, or is that just
We're going to Bristol, but I think that's just a games night kit or something. So yeah, there we go. So nothing too exciting.
And nationals as well.
Nationals,
this summer.
Bloody hell, yeah, we've got those coming up, man. We're going to spend so much money on train tickets and hotel. I'm going to have to share a room with Edie. I'm not looking forward to it.
I'll try and minimise the bad smells.
Oh my god, man. I think we're going to have to both take earplugs as well.
Guys, you guys got to wear those big headphones then?
Yeah, the noise kind of things. Nonsense. Oh god.
You guys, Wales, it'll be fine.
Suffering for our art, man. You know how it is.
Yeah, that's the true definition of a craftsman, right? When you put everything into it, right?
Yeah.
We call ourselves Netrunner craftsmen now. What do you guys travel a lot then? Like it seems like the UK, like I know anyone who's probably gone from North America over there, everything's so well connected, by train, and you just jump across to different countries. Anyone that's done the backpacking trips and stuff. Is that how you guys do your Netrunner? Like, are you all over the place, different countries, or do you try and stay just the local?
Not countries yet.
I've done Germany.
Oh yeah?
That wasn't just for Netrunner though, was it?
No, I was on holiday in Germany, and I took my decks with me, and I found some playgroups in 2 different cities, which was quite nice. I highly recommend that. If you're travelling, like, pack 2 decks for each faction, and just go on Meetup, go on Facebook, search for the city you're in. You will find people. They will be nice. You'll play Netrunner together. Be good.
So how do you guys feel about when you go somewhere else, though? I know, like, for me in Canada, I've got some buddies across the border. For the people that are watching here and listening, like Detroit, New Yorkish area. And man, does the meta change as soon as I travel, like, from one city to the next. Do you guys find that in your place, or is Europe kind of extensively even there?
Were they playing much different stuff in Düsseldorf, Edie?
Because it was just casual evenings, not massively. So no, it was just sort of your usual. Actually, I think every meta has like the same groups of people. There was a crazy NBN player who was determined to play a mental mid-seasons and traps deck, and there's always one person who's always gonna do crazy mid-seasons decks and cards that shouldn't work, but they think they will.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, those cards they want to work.
Yeah,
they're like, this. If I can get this off, this would be amazing. It's really hard to get off.
I guess that's what happens when you show up on league night too, right? Maybe if it was a tournament, it'd be a little different. But I remember going in my local area, and it would be like a play nice kind of thing. We're all like, let's fast advance and steal agendas. Yeah, we're all playing nice, and all of a sudden I go over to like the Buffalo area, and they're like, burn them all, scorched earth, everything. Like, it's just. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm not prepared for this. Better put the Plascretes back in there. So it was just so interesting to see from playgroup to playgroup how things adapt. And I think Octagon sometimes does a little bit now of people kind of seeing what's good. Like Stealth Andy caught on over here pretty well. How about over there? Did you guys see the big, pretty much RP Stealth Andy push?
I've seen some of it. I've seen it played. I think it's won or done well at a couple of tournaments here, but not something you see week in, week out. Not at all.
No, well, not our Tuesday. Our Tuesday group is kind of quite it's a bit lighter. It's kind of like a testing area, really, isn't it? Like, or people trying out fun things. That it's a relaxing time. No, actually, it was a bit of a problem going to tournaments with lots of Fast Advance near of Hub because no one played Fast Advance near of Hub at our Tuesday group, or no one brings like a devastating Gabe deck to Tuesday group, so we're just very unprepared for that.
And like this, there is a serious Netrunner league in London, and it's but it's in leisure games. In London is this weird thing where it can take me an hour and a half to get across London, and it's like it's easy to get to other cities, but it's in a really unfortunate bit of the public transport network. Yeah,
I've heard stories over there. Just to get in and out of that city can be a little tight sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's
is that where David plays? I met Dave Cerebus at Worlds.
Oh, okay. No, he's the west, I think, isn't he? Edie? Or is
he's west. I'm not sure if he's whereabouts in the west, but like west of London, south of Birmingham.
So you guys just stay away from him and let him just let him win his tournaments over there. He might as well. He seemed to be devastating with that Leela deck he was running.
And his Grail, the Crusader deck, has been doing some work, man. Definitely.
I don't know. It's I hope his wall is going to have synergy because he's probably got like four or five just kit plaques hanging on it now. The guy's an incredible player, and kudos to him for what he did with Leela at that level.
I found it really interesting because he took a criminal being traditionally very strong, but Leela being an underused identity. I think before he kind of put it out there and it kind of became popular on Netrunner DB and stuff. So even if you're moving the meta along, it's still criminal. It's still most of the good cards, but kind of moving in. Maybe try something slightly different and see how it goes, and maybe it'll be great. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
totally. It was definitely ahead of the curve there. And now more and more people are actually giving thumbs up to Leela. Saying that I know Scott Spags, when he was on here, saying that Leela is pretty much the strongest criminal right now, hands down, and that's coming from a pretty viable source. Like that guy plays Netrunner in and out,
including Ian Sterling.
Yeah.
You think? All right. Well, there we go.
Is that your go-to? I ran him for regionals, and I was at least able to squeak into top 8, and I think I was happy with that. So
that's cool, man. That's really cool. I don't know. I feel like Sterling's a very different play style, and in a world where the Astro Train was king, probably at the time you were taking him to regionals. He's too slow. He's just too slow.
Yeah,
they'll fast advance out beyond what you can cope with.
He was, but I liked. I think I'm always going to be the guy that experiments a little. I like to think outside the box, and I'm more proud of myself when I show up with this weird deck and it does well than, showing up with a strong deck and just being able to play good. That's how I get my enjoyment out of the game, at least. So that was a moment in time there. But what about going forward? What are you guys excited for here? I know we just cracked PAX this week or part last week, or anything standing out? What are you guys seeing?
Oh, the obvious, the Clot.
First card in the pack, right there, looking at you right when you opened it up.
It's just it slots so well into your standard prepaid Kate deck. You take a legwork out, you put a Clot in. You say goodbye to Fast Advance. It's just the best shape of cards that's been printed for a long time. Just if it was the other color, it would be broken.
Yeah. If it was any other color, we were talking actually about the art. The art's not particularly exciting for what it's going to do to the meta, I think.
You wanted something like
I wanted something with a bit of pop, man. Something that kind of goes, I'm changing things. Things are going to happen when I'm on the table. It's just looks like some tree roots or something. I don't know. It's not for me. But
you should have to put on a pair of 3D glasses and it pops off and really just starts punching your opponent in the face, right?
You know what, man? Maybe it's a magic eye. Do you have magic eyes?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me try it.
I think you're having too much fun with the video concept here.
Well, I'm not used to. Yeah, I couldn't move my arms and stuff. People can see.
And you know what? Actually, that reminds me here. Maybe we should do a small introduction. People know me.
Sure.
I get a little bit recognized, but unless they close their eyes and just listen to the sweet accents that you guys are producing over there, they might not really recognize the faces.
No. That's. I feel that's a fair point. Edie, do something. Explain to people what we are.
I'm Edie. We do a podcast called Run Last Click.
That we do. That we do, son. That we do.
I'm not normally allowed to be in charge of it because then it goes horrible.
People really like that episode you're in charge of, man. They're calling out for more. I was like, oh, let me recover from the last one. But yeah, Run Last Click, talk about netrunnery things and stuff every couple of weeks. Try and keep it fun, try and keep it entertaining, some of the stuff that you do. Really, man.
The same conversations that you'd have if you're sitting at the pub with a beer with your boys, right?
That's it. That's
just casual talk. And yourself, you're going to introduce yourself to the world?
My name's Chris, and Run Last Click, runlastclick.blogspot.co.uk. Go there, listen to everything. It's a fun time.
Yeah, we'll throw links in the description for those people that are going to follow up after. And those people who already do, welcome. Maybe some you guys have brought people over to the dark side here of bad publicity.
This is our face. Hope you're not too disappointed. I know you won't be disappointed with Edie's. You just had your hair dyed recently as well, didn't you, Edie's?
No, it's so faded at the moment. It needs to be redone. The purple falls out really fast.
You're supposed to do all that stuff. You prep for the video time.
Yeah, I was out on the bike this morning, and dyeing your hair and then going and riding a road bike means you end up with a purple face. It's just needs to be done afterwards.
So, anything else stand out from you guys? Let's.
I'm
really enjoying Brain Tapping Warehouse, man.
Oh,
Tapings.
right in
taping.
The corpse side. Have you?
Jeez, man. Look at it. It's got like not throwing anything together yet because we're training for regionals and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like it's ripe for possibilities. It's got like the good combination of res cost to trash cost, which is always good. And you can res an Eli for free.
You can have.
That's all right.
Chris, you can have more than one of them at a time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose you could.
It's not unique. You can have 3 of them. That's silly. It's very, very silly.
And it's not the server there it's protecting or anything.
Nope, it's everything.
That's
glorious.
Great. That's great.
You can res a Janus for 6 credits, or for 9 credits with a 6 credit discount. That's a bargain.
It's like it's the classic thing of like when you run a HB on your first click, you always do. Then you're always safe. But now this throws a real spanner into the works. It just makes it really interesting. I don't know. I feel sorry for HB at the moment because they're not really winning a lot of tournaments. Well, there's the occasional Fast Advance Biotech's one, but I don't know. Chris, what do you see a lot of HB around your parts?
Not really. I do have this love-hate relationship with HB because I think Fantasy Flight likes to dangle the carrot in front of me. Like they just don't give you all the pieces all at once, right? Like
well, what's the current carrots that you
well,
seeing?
I'm glad that Next Gold is out. I'm able to play with more of a next suite. Like when they gave you Next Bronze, and you're like, wow, this is going to be such an awesome card, but I can't use it, right? Like they're releasing. They don't give you the whole set all at once. Just a little piece here, and then you're like, okay, next pack, this is going to be so good. No, it's not in the next pack. It's like a cycle and a half later, you're gonna finish it off. But I do really hope, and I'm still a Next Design player by heart. It's still the one ID that I really hope somebody gravitates to and makes something happen with, because I think it's such a cool concept and such a fast start out the gate if you get that good hand. And maybe Next Gold will help that, but
I don't know if you listen to the Winning Agenda podcast at all, Chris.
I've dabbled in it. Yeah, I see they were trying to work a next design for a bit.
Yeah, man. Basically, the guy's like, it's an aggro deck, and he wants to get like just all the cheap next dice out quickly, protect things, and then he'll Mushin out a 3/5 and hope for the best.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, it's like super rush, and it's really interesting to hear him talk about it.
But I really hope with what Clot brings to the game, with what is it? Is Traffic Jam brings to the game. When people are going to slow down, the fast advance, if that, I don't think it'll ever disappear, because someone's going to roll the dice, be like, no one's going to have Clot at this tournament. I'm taking my NBN fast advance.
No, man, you bring up a really interesting point. That something I was thinking about earlier today. Like, right, so you and me, we're sitting down across from each other. We're in the final of like a regional or whatever, and you've got prepaid Kate, I've got NEH, and I install advance. I advance something. Do you pop the Clot, or do you think he's in the final? He must know I've got a Clot. What's he trying to pull? Is he trying to bait out the Clots? Is he not? So I kind of feel like there's like another level going on there. You've got to pop it, obviously, but has he just got a marked accounts? Just to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, do you know what I mean?
Let it fly, man. It's Saturday.
But yeah, do you see what I mean? Like when it gets to that level, like he knows that I know that he mind games. It's really really exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Hollis and I were talking about that. Like even before you show up to the tournament, like you're sitting down to make your deck, and you're like, "Well, Clot's a thing, so should I not bring my NBN fast advance? Because if I don't, and then they think that, well, is Clot's a thing, so people are not going to bring fast advance, so I don't need Clot in my deck." It's almost like the ever-ending meta loop, and the game is changing where you're really going to have to make a meta call before you go to that tournament. Like you're either all in to kill the fast advance, or you're just going to say, you know what, I don't think fast advance is going to be there, so that's not going to be a deck slot for me.
I'm going to share a secret that I was thinking of keeping to myself, but probably out there, slip out in one of the R episodes. Anyway, I'm building an RP deck currently that I'm probably going to take to regionals, and it doesn't have Kamainu in, and because I don't really like it, I don't really think it's kind of worth the cost. But one of the benefits of having RP and playing RP is people are going to have to fear that you have Kamainu. They've got to respect it.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to get out their Mimic first, even though I don't have it in. So that's kind of like another little fun meta game to play with it. But
so then
I'm enjoying the vegan Wayland for a similar reason. People will install Blastcreeps even though I'm running not a single Scorched Earth.
Which is the right call. Probably, man,
And I think that's really cool, because the game has enough cards now to put a value on every deck slot. So you've really got to decide where you want to go. Like before, it was like, well, I don't really have anything, here's a Plascreed in here to protect it. But now you're like, oh man, Plascreed or, something else, and oh well. But I really hope that HB makes a comeback with the fast advance, percentage of play dialing down. I want to see that classic Redcoat style that Nordrunner was running, taxing HB ice. I know Zachary was in the chat here, and he said he's really hoping for a next platinum. He doesn't want fantasy. he doesn't want Fantasy Flight to stop at gold. And if platinum comes out, he's all in on that suite. He's just waiting for that one more piece.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. What is it? Is it because they've done number of subroutines, they've done strength. Is it something like it's like a beast of an ice, but it lowers its own cost for every other next ice or something?
That'd be quite nice as a one-off, yeah.
Is that platinum? Is that platinum though? I kind of feel like platinum needs to be like you flip it and then like boom, game over. It's like a Janice at the right time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like it needs to be that.
Yeah, I think I would say it's something really powerful, almost like something where you're forfeiting agendas, like an archer mechanic to
yeah.
play it,
Maybe,
because
maybe
HP.
forfeit other bits of next dice into it. Sack a number,
Do you like feed
yeah,
the next dice into it?
yeah, sack X res pieces of next dice into it, like you would sack an agenda into an archer.
That would be incredible. I mean, the only thing I can think of is a Hearthstone reference there, where your void caller kills the people on each side, and then they get bigger strength from their attack power. So it's like X is the number of next ice you res, or res pieces of next ice you trash, and that's how it gets its value. So you feed next into it, and then somehow you're going to have to recur those out of your graveyard, get them back, and
Feed
go.
it some more.
Yeah, that would be a great mechanic, and I think that's a good, I think that's something that's crazily underutilized in this game is knowing when to sack your ice. And wow, I'm kind of speechless there, because now I'm thinking of all the I'm trying to think of all the fun stuff you could, like.
Man, there's going to be next Ruby, there's going to be next Diamond, it's just never going to stop. You're not going to be able to fit it all in one deck.
Yeah,
That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Embarrassment of riches. That's kind of what I want for next. That'd be
because HP does have that zero cost agenda, right? So it would be very interesting to. That's why I was leaning towards
yes.
you sack some agenda points, or or sack the number of agendas to increase something, to do brain damage, say, for every agenda you burn. Do a brain damage.
Just gets nastier and nastier. Yeah, man. No, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. Lucas, if you're watching, there you go. You're gonna have that one for free.
Oh, it's not an if. I know he's out there, always watching. He's Big Brother style.
No, he's in the psychographics. That's where they got the idea for the card. He's just there with all the screens, watching all the YouTube connections. That's what I reckon, anyway.
So, what other mechanics are you guys digging right now? Let's talk game mechanics. We have one coming in with the connections that genetics are going to make. Are you guys happy with the groundwork that this pack lays for genetics? Do you think it's going to be something?
You've been messing about with this, Edie, haven't you?
I tried Symmetrical Visage, and it was on the supplier, and I think that's I think it might have been in your Sageosaurus deck. I took out their Prof Con for it, but I think in Einalk it becomes really interesting just for the stupidness of Wildside and Harder Work with Gene Shop, and you're losing a click, but you're gaining. Well, you're not losing 2 clicks, but you are gaining 2 cards and 2 money, and that's very nice. And then you've run Visage as well, because you'd install it. It's a supplier deck. It's a silly deck for silly people.
Can you pop Duggars and then still have 1 click to do a thing as well? Does that what this does?
I'm not sure. I think the card has to say lose. Does Duggar say lose or
No, it says
spend?
spend. It's spend, yeah.
What else we got? What other geneticsy things you got?
There's the lovely criminal one where you look at cards, you access a card from HQ. The corp reveals a card at random from HQ. Yeah,
that's fun, but is it useful?
And that's the thing that I'm struggling with is that it seems that the genetics on a base, they might not be there yet, but each of the cards seems so cool in its own sense. Like, you're looking at it and actually having to make a decision, thinking to yourself, that's a really cool card and I can have some fun with that. But is that going to, win me the game? Is that going to ultimately be like synergize with the rest of my deck, or?
Well, I mean, it's like for the criminal one, for example, where you help if you're running security testing, you're going to be making if you're running security testing in Masanori, your standard click one is security test your pad campaign, take 2 credits, draw a card, and then at that point, if you reveal a card from HQ as well, if you see an agenda, you're like, right, this is the turn we legwork. So it gives you a little bit of extra information. Oh
yeah, and it was the and I think criminals are going to almost be able to in a cycle or 2 win the game off 1 click, but the amount of stuff that they're going to be able to do, right? Masanori security testing. You have this on the table. You have your Desperado, so you'll be getting money running up in your data suckers. They just seem to be such a click compression faction with it. It's like, how much stuff can I do off one click? And this card does fit into their style perfectly. So I think it's going to be a card to watch out on, because it can slot in there easily already on that click compression stuff.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Some of the other ones that are interesting too, I thought the genetics is the synthetic blood for Shaper. The first time you take damage, each turn draw a card. And I also like the fact that it's each turn, right? So it's one of those cards that work off the runner's turn, works off the corp's turn.
Is this the first card that said take damage, meaning like net damage, brain damage, meat damage, or any?
Yeah. So the first time you get hit with a pup or something, you're like, well, I'm gonna run through that pup, take 1 damage, pay one off the other, and I'm gonna draw a card off that, right?
Yeah, man. No, I've done that with when I've had like I've had low card count and I've had worse in hand. I'm like, I'll just run through a pup. I'm like, go on, save me a credit. Save me a credit and a click, please. I just want to draw the 3. All right, thank you very much. There you go.
I want to take a step back and just shout out to 2 guys that are talking in the chat. Zachary's still throwing out his next design stuff. He wants to hear your debate on next aluminum, so we can just hear everyone's pronunciation of it.
Aluminium, surely, Chris. Like the Queen would say.
And then Terrible Box Bot, he's saying he wants a 0-cost next tin. That's just something totally terrible, but just small. Thanks for coming up with your next ideas there, guys.
I like that. There needs to be like a next paper, a next water. I don't know. Yeah, that you could. We were going in the wrong direction, guys. We want to go backwards. Yeah.
So, do we need to go through the Minecraft thing of metals and plastics, or not plastics, wood and tin? Yeah. No, we don't.
Wood.
Mixed. Yeah, next
wood.
Next wood.
Next pine.
Next pine, yeah.
Yes.
So getting back to our mechanics, I don't know if you guys have taken a quick stroll through this this pack, and seen the amount of black diamonds that are in this pack. It seems like a lot of cards here. The most I've ever seen in a pack that are unique. How do you guys feel about running all these unique cards? Obviously they're in their deck for a reason, and as soon as you see one, the other ones are useless, but now you're making decisions on how many copies of each one to run. And do you think we'll eventually see decks that are just all unique cards?
Is that Page Piper you're showing us?
Yeah, Page Piper, yeah.
Excellent.
I think that's a really nice synergy with this sort of stuff, when you just want, like, Edie, you're a man who loves Replicator.
Oh, yes.
Everyone knows
this.
Because you're a fan of cards that don't work for some reason. Yeah, I understand it.
It's a great card.
But Replicator puts into your hand so you can play it. We were talking about this the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
Whereas Page Piper, if you have the unique on the table, unless you're like in fear of tags or losing your connections or whatever, then you just want them in the bin, really, don't you? So I think that synergizes really nicely.
It's a really, because uniques are a bit of a weird one, because you either want one and a way to fetch it, or it's absolutely crucial to how your deck works, and you have 3 of them, and the last 2 are dead draws. But like Aesop and Noise, I've had to switch from 2 to 3 because it's so important you see it early, and the other 2 are complete dead draws, but it is worth it. Whereas Paige, she might take that decision out. It might be worth running a deck with a lot of sort of pairs of uniques rather than this. You're one and a way to find it, or 3 of.
Does she trigger herself?
Yes, she does.
Mm-hmm.
Including Page Piper.
Yep.
There we go. That's good then. Yeah. The deck thinner.
Do you think? I think it's interesting that they put it into Anarch. Like I think that would it probably would have been broken if it was in any other faction. But you put this card in a different faction, add some influence, and at least have people make a decision if that's the style they're going to go, right?
I kind of feel whenever you're putting something in the bin, then it starts out as Anarch if you're designing a card, and then you kind of have to talk yourself out of it. So I kind of feel that if it was neutral, it'd probably still have the same influence, but because things go in the bin, then it's give it to the Anarchs. Why not?
See if it flows into an exile deck.
Actually, now you're thinking.
Could have some real fun with Page Piper and Retrieval Run and Fems.
Oh, Retrieval Run, yeah.
Yeah,
well, you have to install the thing first.
No, but if you trash the first Fem and then Retrieval Run 1, you then trash another Fem, and then you same old thing with Retrieval Run, install a third Fem, and just have 3 Fems out and just Fem things because it's funny.
That would be funny.
Yes,
it's true. You probably have lost by that point.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny does not necessarily mean good.
No,
yes, I think that's one thing that we definitely understand.
Anything else you guys think is going to be dominant? Do you think we'll still see stealth? Stealth going to hang out?
I feel, well, Edie, back me up on this if you agree. But I feel like as long as RP with sentries with lots of subroutines is a thing, Switchblade is always going to be a thing that you're going to think about when having a Andy deck. Edie?
It's a beast of a card, Switchblade. Yeah. And against NBN with information overload, if you do get mid-seasoned, it's glorious.
And I think it's especially if Fast Advance kind of does take a backseat for a bit and people go Glacier, they're going to be really looking to cut through these ice as cheaply and efficiently as possible. So, I mean, Stealth might really become the backbone of decks soon.
You tried like a full Stealth suite, didn't you, Edie?
I did, and that didn't work.
Why didn't that work?
Because Black Cat isn't very good. But
let's take that out of the equation.
Yeah, take that out and put Lady in, and it suddenly becomes excellent. It was terrifying. If it got set up and I didn't lose because Fast Advance, you could have people. I was playing against an HB player, ice 3 or 4, like 3 deep with Bioroids, and I was running it for net 1 credit. Yeah.
You got room for Clot in there then?
Oh, definitely. That deck had room for influence for days, not influence for days, but yeah, it was.
Once you took out Black Cat, then it became...
Once you took out Black Cat and the Dyson Fractals to feed it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you using cloaks though?
Yeah, 3 cloak. So 3 cloak and 2 of them, and only memory to have 2 installed, and then 3 each of the lockpicks and the what's the criminal one called?
Because then you might run into memory management issues now.
Yeah, it's the 3rd cloak was always the problem, and I didn't have the deck slots for a mem chip, so I just had Astrolabe as the console because it just needed ridiculous draw with just to see everything. Was it Profcon Replicator? Yeah, silly, and Astrolabe is a silly draw engine.
I feel like when those sorts of cards, when Stealth first came out, a lot of people were trying to cram all the Stealth things into one deck, like you did, Edie.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of like a period of that. I think we'll see the same thing with Genetics, actually, where everyone's going to try and cram everything into one deck, and it's not going to work because... I don't know, reasons. But then they'll take information from that and say, oh, well, actually, I really liked having this one. How do I build more around this particular one and kind of be ready for all situations? I kind of place myself in a situation where I'm best prepared for that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Because I think it's... it kind of lingers back to what I was saying at the beginning with the next, I was always waiting for the next piece to come out, but maybe it's not necessary to cram everything in a deck like that. Because I know when the cutlery stuff came out for Anarch, everyone was like, you saw decks online where all the cutlery was in there. Then it was like, let me just, put the, the Century Killer or, the Spoon one in, right, with Kit. You really have to tune it to what the deck's going to be, and you have to be more versatile, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to adapt to many other challenges, not just this is my win condition, this is what I'm going towards. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. And if you go all in on one type like that, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, what I was saying, but you put it better.
I think the exception to that obviously is Grail, where having more of it is better.
Yeah, or next when it's
yeah.
kind of the synergy is so kind of connected.
Well, no, but I'm looking at like the next gold, and I don't think it will fit in a Foundry deck because it's too expensive to res. That'd be my first thought. 8 credits is a lot.
Yeah, that is true. You're really going to have to look for other ways to get that turned, rather than just spend the money on that.
Yeah, I mean,
you want it late, and when you kind of have ice that you want to turn up at certain times, that starts to get a bit tricky. I think that's why you don't see a lot of chums about the place, because if that's in your opening hand, you're very sad.
Yeah, my opening hands of Wormhole and Archer, that's not happy times.
Yeah, because you pull something like a Next Gold early, it's 8 to res. I mean, it is your money card. You want it over a server that people are going to run often, but you put it out there just so you don't have to ditch it, and all it's going to do until you can res it is cost you more money, because now you need another piece in front of it, you need another piece in front of that, and then eventually your 8 is exponentially costing you by how many pieces you need in front of it.
It's taxed you more than you wanted it to, basically.
Yeah. So you're gonna really have to get an economy engine, or people might splash for the root or something, try and protect it and get it up, or what is it? Executive boot camp. Yeah, something like along those lines to help you get these more expensive ice turned. Do you guys feel that? How do you feel about currents these days?
I don't see a lot of them at all. I can't think the last time I've seen one hit the table that wasn't, like Net Celebrity and Nazir and stuff like that, but not like a regular.
Not like a deck that works.
Well, no, because no one brings. I don't see a lot of proper Jinteki replicating perfection, because people are nice and they bring weird decks.
Yes, we don't really see an enhanced login.
And because Grail has become sexy in RP, people are spending their influence on lovely Merlins rather than on enhanced login protocols, which was the standout one, I think, for me, really. Manhunt again came out, and I think, Chris, did you play against the Manhunt deck?
Yes, Tagore, a very good player in our meta. He listened to the show, and kind of next Tuesday he came down and like, Chris, I've got a Manhunt, because we were ragging on it a little bit. Chris, I've got a Manhunt deck for you. I'm going to show you how good it's going to be. And then we played down, didn't play it. Yeah, well, I didn't play it because I've already mid-seasoned you. Well, you kind of proved my point there, Tagore, but nice try. Anyway, no, I think if it comes up at the right time, I think Manhunt early on, when the runner's kind of prodding in and out and seeing what's going on, I think it can be a real pain. So it's almost a Bernie Smai every run. That's right.
Yeah, is probably pretty comparable to that, I would say. We saw ELP a lot, obviously in the replicating decks before they all, cashed in onto Grail. But it just seems weird because there's some good ones out there that haven't seen the light of day. I've seen the Valencia use the bad publicity one for the hand size.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So, but that's again, that's a niche one, and the Wayland one just seems so strong. I didn't think we'd see it, but I haven't seen it extensively used.
You mean housekeeping?
Yes, I always forget the names, but I know what they do.
Discard a card when you install a card.
As soon as you install, you discard. Because I think it all goes back to that Team Covenant discussion with Steven and Tim. It's a card that is so good if you see it early.
Yeah.
Right? So you're really going to mulligan hard for something like that. And I don't know. I was just surprised that I didn't see it more.
maybe the shift away from fast advance will allow you to maybe play more 5-3s, because surely currents are better if you're running lots of small agendas. Like if you lose a breaking news as any H, you don't care. Like it's like, oh, I'll find the next one to actually, or an Astra or a Beal or whatever. But if you're running 5-3s, your agenda, because your agenda density is a lot lower, the runner's going to steal far fewer agenda. Even if they win, they're only going to nick 3. So that way your current's going to last longer.
That's a good point, man. I think moving away from fast advance as well stops breaking news being a problem for currents as well. Because that was in every MBN fast advance deck, and it's
and
annoying.
I think the weird part is that when we go through and you pick your top currents, most of them are on the corporation side. Hopefully, Traffic Jam can give us something on the runner side to cancel these currents easily and still be a decent card. Like I haven't tested it out that much, but I'm more curious on how Traffic Jam's going to affect the game than I am about Clot.
All right, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be useless in sometimes, right? The advancement requirement for each agenda is increased by 1. So most of those agendas that you were going to score in 2 turns anyway are still going to be scored in 2 turns.
Yeah, but 5-3s suddenly become real hard to. I think you mentioned this to me, ED, the other day about 5-3s and Traffic Jam.
Because it takes 3 turns. Because you install advance, then advance 3 times, and then you're at 5, and you need the 6th.
Yeah, that's going to be a real pain.
Yeah, and even to touch on some shots in the chat room, Gregory's saying in housekeeping and RP, he thinks is really interesting if they can get set up, and I agree with that.
How many influences is housekeeping?
That I don't know off the top of my head. We'll have to.
Is it DOS?
It is go
3.
Gadget Internet 3.
3. Ooh, that's a hard sell. That's a hard sell for me, to be honest. But I don't know. I can see why the effect would be good, because you're all with RP. You're just trying to slow the runner down until you hopefully win. So I can definitely see it being a positive. But that 3 influence, and you probably want at least 2, so that's 6 influence spent. That's I don't know. Does enhanced logging protocols do you more work for less influence? I would argue yes, but I'm not an RP player, so I don't know. This is fun having chat, man. They're kind of commenting on like stuff that we're saying, and then wow, we only have to like wait a week to hear back from people, saying.
I mean, I suppose we wouldn't have the influence of dedicated response teams and tagging and housekeeping, because that would be fun. just forcing their hand size.
Wayland deck, man. Come on,
Yeah.
Come on, just play Titan or something. Or actually, what's the taxing
Argus.
one? No, Gagarin, the one that no one plays. Gagarin, yeah.
Yeah.
Then just tax the runner with.
What about so any other standout cards that you guys are liking? Like, what about from the corp side here?
Ooh.
Do you see?
I mean, we talked about it very briefly at the beginning, but brain taping is just super exciting. I think that is really, really just bonkers. But beyond that,
I really like Negotiator. I don't know if it's good, but it's a big tank with some guns, and Trasher Pro. They can pay 2. They can break through it for 4, which is kind of comparable to Eli. I feel like 2 clicks is probably about what a click is worth 1.5, 2 credits.
Yes, something like that. That's what the math people tell me.
So yeah, I don't know. I just like it. I think it's fun.
I think it's very interesting, the fact that you're putting that out there, and they don't need a sentry, or they don't need essentially a breaker to get through it. It's almost pop-up window style, right? Like
yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you just wanted to pay the 2 and let them gain 2, that's the worst idea of all time, obviously. But I mean, if you had to, you go and it's like mega pop-up window. I kind of feel like cards where you're hoping that your opponent makes a bad decision. That one. Aren't something to be relied upon, because when they don't, they're sad,
Yeah, when you're leaving the choice up to an opponent, it can get a little flaky, and that's why I thought with Argus, where it was like, take the tag or do the damage. You really can't bank on them one way or another. You can't say, oh yeah, they're going to take the tag every time, so I'm going to build up a big tag punishment deck and it's going to be good, and then they're like, well, I'm going to take the damage, and then your whole plan is gone and shot.
You never take the tag. They're always holding 3 Scorched Earth. They're always going to try and score an Atlas
yeah. If you can reliably get rid of the old tag before the end of your turn, I think you're doing all right. I think you'll be okay. But yeah, no, I take your point, Chris. Totally. It's
Greg.
You want... Oh yeah, no, go.
Sorry,
yeah.
Greg in the chat saying one of his standouts is Valley Grid, the Jinteki. Whenever the runner breaks all subroutines on a piece of ice, his or her maximum hand size is reduced by 1 until the beginning of the next turn. The beginning of your next turn.
I like this. You put 5 pieces of ice. We all know how common that is, and then 1 your LMP done. There you go.
Well, I mean, your old stupid. Was it the Port Anderson grid? Is a different grid.
Dare you, ED? But yes, you're right. Yeah, it's really bad. Port Anderson grid. There was no reason for them not to jack out. I couldn't make it.
It's something like Edge of World as a. It's a nice Edge of World thing when you just keep stacking it up and they suddenly realise that what you're doing is a terrible, terrible, stupid thing to make them upset. And they're like, but I've broken all this ice anyway. Oh shit!
So maximum hand size. So if their maximum hand size drops below 0, they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's not brain damage.
Because you have to discard down to your hand size, and if you can forced to discard a card and you can't, you lose. I think that's always
how it works.
Yeah.
I never really know.
You're not likely to get.
There's like Gary's Labyrinth
get 6 of the.
As well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, synergy. There you go.
Synergy. What's Greg been doing with it?
We'll know in about 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds. Lag.
Yes.
He just says he plays Jinteki. That's all. So far.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I mean, Cortex Lock is interesting for sort of really punishing face checking early on.
That's true. It's a good
4-cost sentry, man. 4-cost sentry.
But
that's
I mean,
business.
It's not in Jinteki because you're always going to install the Mimic because of the Kamainu. But for everyone,
Mimic's 3.
Oh, is it a 4-strength sentry?
Yeah, 4-strength sentry.
Oh well, hot damn. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It's even better. I was looking at get my numbers mixed up.
2-cost early on. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I think you just take the damage. Someone was saying that they've died to this already. Turn 1, they installed a grimoire, ran, and they were deaded. They were pasted on the floor. It wasn't very nice.
It definitely does stop the whole running on no breakers. You're really gonna have to look for your sentry or some way to be prepared for this. Whether you install all the viruses and use it up, or you at least have a sentry breaker on the table. But very interesting mechanic going off the unused MU there, making people think.
Well, same as the Sage and whatnot. It's one of the nice new mechanics sort of that's popped up recently.
Edie, I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
I've just read in the chat that Greg combos the Valley Grid with Mamba, Snoop, and other horrible things. That's a deck. I want a deck, Greg. Send us a deck list. I want to see this nonsense. That's incredible. I love Snoop, man. I think Snoop's a really fun card. I've never managed to get it to work like that.
I feel the same way when that card came out. I loved it so much, but I mean, I just look at the price every time and just doesn't. Yeah. It's not making the cut at that. But we'll see. Over Mind Killer.
Yeah, man. I guess the obvious cards, should I say, that we haven't talked about yet are the Jinteki Biotech.
Tank, greenhouse, and brewery.
Yeah, man.
Oh, dude, yeah. Let's saving the best.
I suppose don't want to start the show with a showstopper, as they say. But I really like that you can, like it says explicitly, there's not going to be any confusion. It says explicitly, you can look at your opponent's identity, and then go, yeah, that one, please. I think that's really fun. There's just, that's really good.
Definitely a very interesting mechanic, talking about the other mechanics, and I like it. I like the idea a lot. I'm not sure how it's gonna fly.
Well, I mean, because you could do it two ways. You could build a deck that works well with all three identities, or you could build a deck for one identity and just screw with the runner, because you know what it is and they don't.
But then you become known as that guy. You're, the brewery guy.
Or you bring 3 brewery decks and then roll a dice at the start of the day and pick that one, and then right, I know which identity's in this box, but you don't.
If we're not already known as the brewery guy.
I don't want to be the greenhouse guy. Someone else can be. You want to be the tank? I want to be called the tank. That sounds fun. Flip your identity, shuffle archives into R&D, man. Oh, I really like that. It's like Super Jackson Howard. They've cloned Jackson Howard so many times that it's just impossible not to put all your cards into R&D. That's a fun one.
Touching on the theme right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So which one do you guys like the best of it? First off, let's say, do you think this is going to be a viable deck build, or deck? Saying from a competition standpoint, taking it to a high level tournament.
I think the 4 advancement counters thing just looks so powerful for 3 clicks, and you flip it, and because you can combo that with other nice things, like Trick of Light and a Biotic Labour, or just a Biotic Labour, and you can start doing silly things with 5/3s from hand, stuff like that. I think that's quite a bonkers thing you can do.
Yeah, I'm going to say a very bold statement now. And
I like it. I like it.
Everyone prepared. Jinteki Biotech will never win Worlds.
Boom.
There you go. All right. Everyone edit that back when they actually do. Yeah. But no, I think all the things you were saying earlier, Chris, kind of go against it. It's like, can you build a deck that supports all these identities? I kind of don't really see it, but I haven't played with it. I kind of feel once my tournament training sessions have stopped, I'll give it a go and see what happens. But yeah, it's a jack of all trades, master of none situation, really. I think I'd rather have one powerful identity than...
I think that's a really good way to put it, going with the jack of all trades thing. I think you hit the nail right on the head, because to me, I don't feel that... Well, I don't think that as much as they're fun to play, I think they're going to be a blast to play in friendly games. I don't think they're going to be tier 1 right now, unless they get some crazy support in the next pack. The one that stands out me the most is the shuffle archives into R&D. I don't know if that's the one I would lean towards most of the time, especially with Anarch still on a high, with everyone still running their noise decks everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, do you build towards the advancing and a net damage angle, and then you have this third one for when you see an Anarch across from you on the table? Mm-hmm. When you see Max, then you just go, well, that's easy decision. Shove that in.
Because the thing I think the thing that we need to think about too is that we're not getting consistency out of this ability. This is not something that's going to be like at the other Jintekis, 1 damage every time an agenda is scored. This is a one-time use. This is, I'm going to forfeit my 3 clicks to flip this and do this power 1 time. So how much, there's got to be better IDs out there that fit into, I would rather do 1 damage over a couple turns than flip this and do 2 right away. Sure, you might be able to pull a kill off here and there, But the runner is not going to be sitting with like one card in Jinteki very often that I'm going to forfeit my whole turn and do 2 damage to you, right?
And
like,
could you build a deck to use those 3 clicks better?
right.
You know. Yeah. Could you have some neural EMPs? Could you do other things? Yeah. You know, like it's costing you 3 clicks, and those 3 clicks could be spent on other things.
And I do think that it was part of the design this way. And we'll see how it flushes out. But yeah, you couldn't have something super overly powered, 3 different versions of it, because it would just be too broken, I think. But when you flip this identity, shuffle archives into R&D, I think that's, I think that's the one that's going to be used most of the time. And when I come across somebody playing this Life Imagined, I will pretty much say that they're going to be using that identity, that power.
Yeah.
Shuffle all their snares and traps and stuff back in. Like you said, Ultimate Jackson Howard, right?
Yeah, Super Saiyan Jackson Howard. Yeah.
Get everything over and put all your agendas back.
Edie, you feeling this? You've been awfully quiet.
I'm not. I still don't. It's because it's 3 clicks and it's not instant. I see the attraction of just putting an entire Jinteki deck back through. But I mean, if you're not doing like the 1 ping of net damage every time they're stealing an agenda, it lacks that killiness almost. And that's why I don't see lots of traps brilliant and like putting them back through. But you're going to really thin out your agenda density. You might not actually see the ones you need if you're actually trying to score. You can end up with such a thin deck that you just drag the game. I suppose maybe that's the idea, is drag the game out until the runner runs out of cards to deal with snares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think, Chris, what you said at the beginning of this little bit, though, is kind of probably worth bringing up again, is like we're talking like for a top-tier deck. Like, I've got lots of fun ideas that I wanna try with this, so I'm definitely going to play it, and I'm glad it's in the pack. But yeah, do I take it to Worlds? That's another question. Don't want to be too down on the fun idea. It's a new idea. It's exciting. I don't want to be too down about it.
No, and do you think we'll see? Is this a mechanic that everyone's going to get?
Well, I've heard hearsay and conjecture, but yeah, apparently MBN Big Box might see something similar. I don't know though, because. Yeah, like I've heard that, but it kind of feels like kind of a Jinteki, mind gamesy thing, doesn't it? Kind of like, you're secretly choosing something, and the runner has to kind of think about what's going on here. So I'm not sure it quite fits into other factions, so maybe not, but well, we'll see. Yeah,
that's a good point. If you're sticking with thematic and themes and stuff, the mind games that this brings to Jinteki is a whole thing on its own, and maybe we won't see it across the board. If that's the case, though, I would like to see other Jintekis like this, but with maybe different abilities.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a one-time thing. I think it's really cool, and I would rather promote the funness of the game than someone trying to just find that tier 1, right?
And all cards aren't meant for everyone, that's what Damon says anyway.
Yeah, true. Hitting up in the chat, a comment from Gregory. He says maybe doing 2 net damage is more of a timed thing. After they do a special order, and you're not trying for that kill shot. You're just trying to snipe the pieces that they need.
Well, because it doesn't need a successful run like in your EMP. That's the power of it, is when they think, because you presume against Jinteki, if you haven't run, you're probably safe. Unless there's a massively advanced card that might be a Ronin, they're not gonna. You can sit there and go, I can finish my turn on 2 cards. They've got nothing going on. It's fine. I can install my you install whatever you're installing, and then you get pinged. But maybe for the snipe, as he says, but that's a very edge case.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I'm sure a lot of testing went involved in this, and I would love to see what these cards went through in development. But there's no caveat for that net damage, right? There's no, if you're in Jinteki and you do happen to run the wrong piece of ice, take the damage, and you're sitting with 1 card, sometimes you can be like, oh well, I didn't I might be safe, I might not. There's nothing, right? Like you didn't steal an agenda, you didn't do anything. All this person has to do is spend their turn to hit you for 2, and I think that's a very good point there.
But then they flip it and shuffle their archives into R&D, and you go,
Yeah.
whew, all right then, that's fine. All right.
Turn 2, they just have the one card out there. flip 4 advancements, go.
Yeah. Ooh. Actually, you know what? But it needs to be installed. I was going to say it's a free Nisei counter, but it's not because you need to install it. So ignore me.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about a free Nisei encounter, you can talk about the research one that came in, right? A 3-1, a quick pop for Jinteki. When you score genetics, you may place 1 agenda counter on an agenda in your score area.
Yeah. Tell me more. How do you feel about this, Chris?
I like I don't know. I'm torn. I like the fact that it's a 3-1 because I think people might be able to play with their agendas a little more. I like to see diversity in agendas. I don't like to see, like, when someone figured out the perfect NBN build, and it was like, oh yeah, you got your Beals, you got your Astros, and a couple NAPDs, and maybe a breaking news. Boom, you're all good, and every NBN ran the same one.
We never need to think about agenda selection again. It's just this, stamp that down.
So I remember having to cram in the restructured just to. Anyway, continue.
So
times.
I think this one here might be an underrated card for Jinteki, because you think about the powerhouses that you would love to get scored early. House of Knives, I want to put an extra House of Knives counter on it. And then, the dreaded Nisei. Like, I hate when someone scores a Nisei and you're like, okay, they're running Nisei. I'm going to have to try and find the other ones first before they do it. Now all they have to do is score 1 and a stupid 3-1, and then it's 2 Nisei tokens, right? Like, when Nisei is scored, I'm not thinking, oh crap, they have 2 points. I'm thinking, oh crap, they can stop my run. Like
it's essentially 5 points, I would say. Once they've scored Nisei, it's like, oh,
game,
all right.
This game is done.
Well, it's almost like a Jinteki Astro token. I'm kind of feeling playing with RP. It's kind of like I used to play a lot of Neothab, and like in tournaments you'd play, and once you've got the Astro token, you can go. All right, we've got the Astro token. All right, everything's going to be fine. And a lot of times when playing RP, I get a similar sort of feeling with Nisei. It's like, all right, I've got that Nisei. I can now score this feature perfect in my hand. I've got my right set up. All right, cool. All right, good. All right.
Yeah, it's those cards that create the the scoring window for you, right? That buffer, and this card is going to open up those buffers a lot more for Jinteki.
I think so. I think if you're being very unimaginative, I think it just goes in PE, doesn't it? That 1,000 cuts, and then you get an extra House of Knives. What else does this work with in that PE deck?
That's what I was trying to think of too. Is that what other agenda counting ones in Jinteki do we have other than Nisei and House of Knives?
Brain Trust.
Brain Trust. Labyrinthine servers, I think, is it? Is that, as well. I tried to build a deck with that. I don't want to talk about it. I don't know why I brought it up.
But a lot of I think it'll bring resurgence to some of the ones that Jinteki. This card will make you think. It's gonna fight for a spot in decks that are running those ones, right? We're just not gonna see 3 future perfects, a Philotic, and some NAPDs in there.
Shove it in, see what happens. I think that's that's.
I try and live my life by that motto.
if because it's RP, it's one of the few cards that you can install and never advance, because everything else is pretty much normally a 4/2 or a 5/3, right? So you can slap it down in your Sundew server. They're going to assume it's as well, or next to a Sundew, they're going to assume it's a mental health clinic, and then you can advance it 3 times the good old cheeky way you do when you're playing NEH or HB.
Oh, you know what though, man? If I'm slotting, well, actually, this could still work, but if I'm slotting a 3/1 into RP, it's going to be Kronos Project.
I suppose, yeah.
At the moment, particularly. You know, they think it's a Sundew, or they think it's like a Jackson. You go, nah, son. nah. Put all that in the Nega zone. You know, get it out of here.
I really, really love that agenda, and
of course you do. You're a sensible man.
thank you, sir. But are you guys shocked about how underutilized it is? Like, because I feel like, again, it's talking about the factions have their set agenda suites that people feel like this is the best agenda suite. I don't want to break up this set of cards, and I don't have room for this 3/1. Because one pointers can throw off the you know, the makeup of a deck. You know, if you're trying to keep your agenda density, you know, to 10, 11, you know, cards, now that you're putting in one pointers, you might end up with 12 or 13, say, right? Like, and then I know for me, the first thing I do when I'm building decks and I have a card that I really want to get in, I kind of look if I can compress the agendas, right? Like,
yeah. I've done that.
So, you know, getting a 3/1 into your deck is not as easy as it sounds, but I think it does fit in Jinteki. It's perfect. I'm not worried about losing it. I'm never worried about someone taking a 1-pointer. So,
Edie, would you agree that maybe you're either going for low or high agenda density? It tends to be in deck. You're never kind of really going mid ground, or
you do. Yeah, sometimes you do. If you're running all 2 pointers and a couple of 1-pointers, that's fairly mid agenda density.
Yeah.
And then you can go to something that runs a lot of one. Like I've got 13 at the moment in the Titan deck I've horribly stolen, and that works really well. You lose a lot of them, but
how many 1-pointers you got in that?
Oh gosh, now you're asking.
Is it all the firewall implementation?
It's firmware updates,
and
a Kronos protocol, and three hostile takeovers. That's
maybe
that's a lot of 1-point agendas. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but maybe that's it. You know, because maybe people are putting Kronos protocol in decks, but they're only deciding like, oh, I'll just put one in just in case, and they're just never getting around. You know, it's just never coming up. So
I've considered atlasing it against Max, trying to work out like, is atlasing out the single Kronos protocol the right thing to do to Trick of Light from hand? Do you screw getting the next atlas? Do I just kill her entire deck?
Has the levy gone in the bin? I think that answers your question. Yeah.
I thought when Max was spoiled a little bit before the store championships and things like that, all I could think about is, man, is everyone not going to run Kronos? Not many people did. But I'm surprised. But I heard a few people that did. A couple of my Milwaukee buddies, they said they wrecked a couple people's days scoring a Kronos that was playing against Max.
I can see that. Yeah,
it does well against like prepaid Kate as well with the disposable breakers, because you can't clench them back if they're not there.
If you Kronos protocol my Deus Ex away from me when I'm playing against Jinteki, that is, you're just doing every run's a Hail Mary run at that point.
Crazy. So any other thoughts on stuff that's coming, stuff that you've heard? I'm excited for the amount of brain damage cards that I've seen spoiled for the new ones.
Oh, there's that lowered hand. Are you going to say this lowered hand size one?
Yeah, what a glorious identity that will be.
That's going to be fun, yeah.
Which one are you guys hitting off?
It's an HB identity. I think it's in the next pack. Both players reduce their hand size by 1.
Oh,
yeah. Just let's play with Victor. So I'm saying, as soon as you have two brain damage, which is either 1 cerebral overwriter or 2 bad things, a Fenris and something else happening, a snare kills you every time. Dead. Very
interesting seeing damage heavy in HB. that will flip things around. It's almost like the same mechanic from Harmony Medtech, right? Like just playing off something different, right? Hand size at both players lowered by 1. The other one is we only need 6 points to win the game.
Yeah, man. When I really liked Harmony Medtech because it suddenly becomes a different game, because you've kind of both got this. Because you're both on this even footing, but even removing one agenda point needing to win completely changed it. Have they got all 3-pointers? Are they trying to do something funny with like fast advancing? And I kind of feel the same thing with the lowered hand size. Is like how are they going to use this? Because it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Such a strong, important kind of impressive change. A ED.
Yeah.
Do
like
English for me.
Game changer.
Yes.
We're changing the game, Chris. That's what it's doing.
Line.
But you know what's going to happen. The first time you play against someone with it, they're going to sit down on the end of their first turn. They're going to finish with 5 cards, and you're going to go and point at the idiot, and they go, oh and look at their hand, and realise that sure gamble they were holding on to for next turn when they drawn instead. Because like I've got the money to play it. I don't want to surprise you. Like I need to put something in the bin. Yeah. It's gonna be so different because you're not sitting there looking at a little brain damage token or
especially against those Andy players, right? Like you're usually when I've played Andy before, your mulligans. Sorry, you're like, okay, I can play these ones, and then this is my setup next time. Now it's like, oh man, 1 card afterwards.
And every run they do without playing a card is that much more painful as well.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Sounds very...
poor Andy. Oh,
yeah.
Poor... It'll be fine.
Well, I'm
still
really...
be fine.
I'll be still at home in Shaper with our new Shaper that's coming, Haley. I'm really excited for what she brings. I was kind of bummed out a little by Nasir. I mean, he was really he was really cool concept, right? Yeah. Like just an incredible design aspect, but just his execution just kind of faded. Like I wish he was in a big box, because then I'd be like, oh, this guy's really cool. Like like when the Professor came out, this guy's really cool. At least I have 2 other new Shapers to but not have to wait a whole cycle. I was just like, oh.
Well, every time you install a thing, she can install another thing if you have the cash. Basically, is that her ability? Is she just going to be super poor, or are you going to install lots and lots of similar sorts of things, like low cost?
And inside men,
inside manins,
a whole team of them, a whole team on the inside.
They're non-unique, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mean compromised employee?
I might do. The guy gives you 2 credits a turn for installing hardware.
This is the inside.
Oh, that's the man with the trolley.
Yes.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Posing as a janitor.
Yeah.
So I guess that means if that's the HB one and we've seen the Jinteki one, it doesn't look like the Chronos Project protocol one. What was it, like your version of the plugged into one that everyone voted on?
Oh, yes.
I guess we're not seeing that this cycle?
No, when did it get voted in? Was that last year? That was last year, wasn't it?
Well, we still haven't seen Laramie Fisk yet, so I'm really thinking that this criminal cycle has to be Laramie Fisk by now, right?
Fisk this year, yeah.
From plugged in, so I think, because they can't stretch it out anymore. I mean, it's almost like...
what? It's a little sad that, well, not sad, but I'm sure a lot of people have been playing him on Octagon and stuff, and they've probably played him and already bored of him by the time he comes out, which is a little sad. But
yeah, sometimes I feel like that when I go to Netrunner DB. Last season we saw spoilers incredibly early. I'm like, we still have 2 packs in this cycle, and people are building. I'm pushing through all these max deck lists. Like, come on, where's something valuable?
Yeah, let's make some of the cards we got. You're paying for them. Blimey. So use them.
Let's get your money's worth here.
Exactly. There you go.
So, yeah. So I think Laramie Fisk. I thought Laramie Fisk was gonna have to come out last cycle, but then we saw Leela. I'm really thinking it's gonna be now, because you can't next cycle say, "Hey guys, remember this card you voted on 3.5 years ago? here it is. Hey, jazz hands."
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, man.
Anything else you guys are excited for coming up, or disappointed, or?
I'm liking the cybernetics stuff. I think that's really interesting in kind of more of a flavor way. I haven't really read the cards properly, but I kind of like the idea of bionic eye and brain cage, and it's just quite flavorful, quite fun.
And those are the ones, and they're the ones that do brain damage to you, right? Are we thinking of the same ones? Yeah.
I think there's another card that lets you ignore the brain damage or something.
It's like the gene part, or like the cybernetics parlor or something.
Yeah.
You're gonna know a good guy with a needle and thread and a claw hammer.
Yes.
Yeah, I think those are really going to be interesting cards as well. That's why I'm seeing a lot of the brain damage is going to be a lot more interesting. It's something we haven't really seen, I don't think, heavily throughout Netrunner theme. Everyone talks about net damage and meat damage. There's not so much brain. And
there's that new exec coming, isn't there, with HB? For if you finish a run without a click, if you're out of clicks on a run, you can pay some money, res them, and take a brain damage.
Huh.
They're bringing it back. That's coming out in this cycle, I believe.
I wonder if that makes what was the HB card that every time someone does brain damage, it's
Sentinel Defense Network.
Yes.
Still bad. No,
still bad.
We were talking about this the other day, actually.
Say it ain't so.
I always try and cram it in, and just it's when you score it, you feel bad. It's not an ABT or a 5-3, and then when you're like, oh, no one's going to take any brain damage. They're going to be really careful.
I thought about that too. It's just the people were around here. They were doing a lot of the Chaos Stim shops when that deck got popular, and with the resurgence.
I don't know this one. What's that?
Chaos Theory. Using you put down your personal workshop and then pay for everything to pop off it with your stim hack money on a run.
Oh, with the stim. Sorry, I thought you meant stim dealer.
Hey, that's still a cool card too. Yes.
Why? No, but I was thinking, why is Chaos Theory and Stim Dealer makes it?
So with the amount of stim hack that was being used, I was like, I'm gonna put this in my HB deck. I'm gonna show them. Right? Never happened. I was not sneaky enough there. Just hurting myself in the long run, trying to, because it's a 4-for-2 or something, is it? Or?
Yeah. 4-2's got to be real good, man, to warrant that inclusion.
Yeah. I agree, and unanimously we all say no. So
there, it's decided.
Someone
write that down.
But I think the game is in a great state. I think our card pool is at a really good size, where now we're forced to make tough decisions, and it's not building the count like. That we're not taking the 2 top decks. There's variety to go to a tournament with. Anything else you guys want to say in close? We kind of covered a good amount of stuff here. So you guys are going into regionals. What's your regional prep like, or where can people join you? Do you guys regional prep in public? Where's your local leagues?
Well, I have a gilded tower that I do my regional prep in. It's down the pub.
It's down the pub, yeah.
It's down the pub. We're quite lucky, actually. We live near a pub which has very nice flat tables and reasonably clean. Isn't that right, Edie?
Yeah, and just about well lit enough to see the cards.
Just about, and also a very nice selection of beers as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, If people want to hang out and play cards, we go to the London Bridge group on Tuesday. if you're in London. If you don't want to make that one, then there's one in Darksphere on Thursday.
Thursdays from I think 6 till 10.
And then there's one in North London at Leisure Games on Wednesday or something. But yeah, Google London Netrunner and get involved because it's a really fun scene and everyone's nice. Yeah,
you guys are really doing big things over there. It's such a crazy thing. Like I know I've said this before, but it just blows my mind that this little card game, how much it brings people together, right? Like.
And how nice everyone is as well. I have a hard time thinking of someone that I didn't like that I've met through Netrunner, to be honest.
I mean, it's how popular everything as well. Like the fact that all of the tournaments in Scenario or the loading bar just sell out, and then sell out very, very quickly. So you had 45 beginners last weekend, and we're going to have 60 people for regionals.
Yeah. Nationals sold out in a few hours as well. Along with Conquest, that doesn't really prove much about that, but I don't know. Although we were talking, weren't we, Edie, about actually, I wouldn't mind a Space Marine as a playmat.
Yeah, I really want I'd happily go for a Tau playmat.
Nice. I would quite like a Dreadnought on mine. If there's ever one of those, I'll get my hands on that. Oh, didn't you say someone got a playmat? They came in fourth.
Out of a four-person tournament, yes.
Out of a four-person tournament. So maybe I just need to pick up a core set and just turn up to one of these and see what happens.
Just a core set deck might not be. 2 core sets, I think, is about the limit. They're nice and easy, yeah.
Is that you guys, Edie, you are into the Conquest then? Is that what
we bought a core set, or I bought a core set, and we played it once, and we had some fun, and we shouted Space Marine things across the table at each other, and orcs did things.
For the Emperor! And etc.
That was a walk, and Snotlings died in droves. It was glorious. But it's a strange game.
Your Netrunner commitment's not letting you game outside this one too much.
It's really weird.
I think it's partly that, but I don't know. It didn't quite grab me as much as Netrunner did as well. Edie, do you feel the same sort of way?
Same here, but it's also, I find, we do, because you play a lot of Netrunner. If you want to play sort of tournament Netrunner, you are playing a couple of times a week to get proper practice in, and it kind of cuts down on other games you can play. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we've missed, particularly board games, that I've missed out on just because we do play a lot of Netrunner. It's why it's sometimes quite nice to just go and try something like Armada. Everyone's battering me about that. That's big spaceships. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opening my wallet for Armada right now. I feel like I got all these X-wing ships,
it's only 50 quid. Oh, hold on, wait, and then expansions.
No, it's 80 quid as well. The starter box.
You kind of need 2 starter boxes.
Yeah.
As
well. That's what I'm hearing.
We've got some friends who seem to really like it and want us to come. Yeah, that's the way to do it. But convince your friends Armada is really, really good. And play at their house.
Just go around their house. Yeah.
See, I did the same thing as you guys. I have an X-wing fleet and stuff like that, and I got into Star Wars the card game a bit, but then I kind of fell behind because of my commitments with Netrunner and stuff, and I just sacrifices had to be made, So
I think long term, man. I think because you're putting so much into it, you get a lot more back. So I think it's a good trade off, though.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to sound too complaining.
No, but
at least I don't. I don't know how you're feeling, Chris. Maybe it's eating up your life, and you're just waiting for an intervention to say someone to jump in and stop you. I don't know.
I'm hoping I can balance when Game of Thrones is rebooted, though.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's well, Tagore does want us to play.
Tagore's super keen on that, man.
So keen.
Super keen. Because he was, didn't he do like a Game of Thrones podcast at one point? And
yes.
He's been regional champion and yada, yada, yada. And yeah, he's super keen for people to play Thrones. He seems to enjoy it as well, man.
It's just the start cost is ridiculous, which is why the reboot is dangerous.
I hear good things.
Yeah. You and me both, man. You and me both.
So I think upon saying that, I'd like to thank everybody that kind of chimed in the chat. As always, good times hanging out with you guys, especially on a Saturday, and especially spare of the moment. It always surprises me that I can throw something on Facebook or Twitter and get this many people, within a 5-minute span. Thanks you guys for, hanging out, putting you to work on a Saturday. Or taking a break from your Saturdays.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Very, very enjoyable.
Same, and I think we should definitely not say this is the last time.
Oh no!
Oh gosh, no.
No, I wouldn't say that.
But thanks a bunch, everybody, and have a great weekend or whatever day you are watching this on. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.